Mick Pulteney, Compost King, Colligate, West Mids. Somebody's asked me on one of my blogs, when I finish my compost, how do I take the worms out if I'm using it as potting on, as a growing medium, basically. So that's what we're going to cover, plus all the bits I'll throw in. So to start off with, kitchen waste, which I've just chopped up there, and garden waste, which I've chopped up there. That's what I'm doing. Now I've got my compost bin. I've only got one packed in my allotment. I used to have 6 down there, 2 for leaf mould, 4 for compost. Now I've just got the one bin. There's only me and the missus, so we ain't got many scraps. So it's probably every 3 or 4 days then I'm going to add for the to the compost. What I used to do when I got loads of stuff was get a bucket, an hard bucket, and extend it edge shears and chop everything up. Basically, the smaller you can get the ingredients, the quicker the breakdown. That's how I can get it ready so quick. So all I'm doing now, if it seems like too much like hard work, then I don't know what you're doing for a living, but I'm chopping everything up with scissors. So we get a couple of these bits here. The smaller the ingredients, the better, quicker the breakdown. Kitchen waste, garden waste, I've chopped them up there. Stalks like this, I don't bother because I'm going to take that long to break down. Don't forget, my compost is ready within 3 weeks to a month. So then we'll go in the bin. I've just chopped that lot up. Another good one is when I take the hound for a walk on the morning. I'm collecting nettles before they go to seed. Full of nitrogen, another good one, comfrey. I've already chopped some of them up in there, so we've got them. Another excellent one, that's my poo bag for the hound, but I'm collecting leaves up, old leaves. I'm still collecting them up. One of nature's freebie, they're superb. This is another good one, banana skins. Just chop them up, well, cut them up with the scissors. Use rainwater. Fill up about 3/4 of a jug. You can see there's about 3 banana skins I've had in there. Leave that overnight, then the next day. That's your potash feed for all your house plants. So that lot can go in there as well, because I've fed all my house plants. Extra ingredients you can put in, I've got all under here. So once I've got that one, I start off with an empty compost bag. You've got to have your carbon, which is this lot here. These are egg boxes. I'm ripping them up at night while I'm watching the box. Plus the shredded newspaper. The best paper you can get is old paperback books. Just shred them up. Superb stuff. That's your carbon, or one of your carbons. So that'll go in first. So that wet stuff I've just chopped don't stick to the bag. Bung them in. Extras which I've got. You don't get down here, Ben. If you ever need anything, just get on the internet, put it in, then put your postcode. It'll give you your nearest supplier, or should do. But this is basalt rock dust from Reaming of Scotland. Jennifer Mowdy, my mate. Used to get that by the ton for the training ships, but that is superb stuff. Because it's volcanic, it's got trace elements and minerals from the centre of the earth, which we haven't got up here. So that's a good one. But usually a fistful of everything, or double handful. Whatever manure you use, that's where you get your worms from. I like to use any manure I can get hold of. Every manure has got something which other manures don't have. This one is hamster manure. My mate gets me this. There's a good and beautiful stuff. This is another good ingredient. Wood chip mixed with topsoil. Look at that. I mean, any big lumps. Then I'll put them to one side and put them on the bed outside. One of the best ones you can get, leaf mould. This is about 6 months old. As you can see, because there's moisture on the bottom, you will get worms in. But it's more bacteria and fungi that break down leaf mould. But it is superb stuff. That's why I'm still collecting it. Don't forget, compost is peat is being, well, supposedly. That's a lot of crap anyway. But I'm phasing it out for the gardener. But I found out last week, it ain't going to stop them getting peat up. They're still going to get peat up in Ireland and just send it abroad. There's a lot of crap. Meaning we've got to find out alternatives for peat. And the alternatives that are coming out, even what Clover have dished out, them crap. So make your own compost, and there you go. But leaf mould is superb. We can cover that again in a minute. Here's another one, that's topsoil. People forget to put topsoil in. The best topsoil you can get is 1 pinch of topsoil, you've got millions of bacteria and fungi. Best topsoil molehills. Superb stuff. When I'm going on my talks, I always Google where I'm going and get there half hour early. Traffic, all that crap. And if I find a field local and they've got molehills, I'll go and borrow some. Spent coffee grounds, dry it out. Excellent activator. It's also a good feed, high nitrogen feed. All my fruit trees were done last week. I get mine from Tesco. Any Starbucks, anybody? If you don't, get it off them. I'll bloody bin it. That's another one. Not can't get much of it now, mate. This is soot from the chimneys because there ain't many chimney sweeps about. But if you do find one, that's another good one. This is a tree I found during the week with a hound. A tree had come down and it's been rotting on its own, so I've nicked some of that stuff. Natural product. If it's a natural product, it's going to break down. Another one, this is from a brewery. This is spent hops. I had a contact for this, well I've still got the contact for this. I had all these contacts for the allotment, and they have I give them a key and they drop it off every Saturday morning. I've got to get rid of it, breweries have got to get rid of it. But all my fruit trees are top dressed 12 months a year with spent hops. They love it. Another good one, except we can't go to the Midlands, seaweed. This is dry, I mean you can put seaweed on as it is, but I wanted small ingredient, so I dry it. When I first got it I used to wash the salts off, but I've since found out the salts, which is bloody obvious, the salts are good salts. That's why everybody bloody hates it, or little chaps in the sea, and you don't kill nothing. So I don't need washing off, just dry it out, and then I chop it up with my edge shears and then put it through the shredder twice. Excellent stuff. That's good. This one is spent mushroom compost. I used to get that by the ton as well. If there's any lumps in, just rub them out. But that's a good one. I've lost my supply for them and all, but that's good stuff. Another good one, sand, any sand you can get. Just bung a dollop of that in and all. This one is goat muck. I've dried it and shredded it, meaning it's a smaller particle, break down quicker. Perfect. This one is wood burner ash. Make sure the wood. This one was wood burner ash, so I bung her up there. These are extras. We've put the first one about what I mentioned. See it on the bottom. That's tea leaves, dried tea leaves. I dry tea bags off as well. And open the bags and put the tea leaves in. The tea, same as spent coffee grounds, good activator for the compost. Extras I've got here, eggshells. I put them through the blender. Mini chopper, but Silvercrest from Germany, so I had these from Lidl. There's one there, you can see it. There's the blade in the middle. And there's another good one. I think these was a tenner when I had them. But in here, the eggshells, that's your calcium. Obviously again, the smaller you get the ingredients, the better. Something else I've got in there, layers chicken pellets. Worms love it. Alfalfa pellets and oyster shells. You ain't got to get them, but I mean if you do, you can get just bung it on eBay or Amazon. Alfalfa pellets and oyster shells, layers chicken pellets, and you can get them now by the kilo, and that'll last you yonks. So all that lot is put through the blender, mixed up, so a fistful of that goes in there as well. Another good one, what worms love, porridge. I've got a mate, I had this one from a bloke in Australia, but my mate was trawling it as well as a feed, and if you grind that up and top dress it on plants, it feeds the plants. Another natural product. And this is off my mate Rowley. He's got sheep muck in here mixed with biochar. He makes his own biochar. You can see there's a biochar, the black bits. So that's good crap and all. So they have a good brewing. That lot now is going to get mixed up. So I've got the bits nice and small. I'm now going to mix them up. Meaning when it goes in the bin, it's all ready for the worms. They ain't going to go around looking for it. It's already mixed for them. When I get my leaf mould, so I got them when end of last year. You get a strong black bin liner. It's got to be a strong one, obviously. Open it up. Put 2-inch layers of leaves in. Thing is with leaf mould, you've got to wet every leaf that goes in, otherwise it'll stay crisp. Just put a 2-inch layer in, water it. 2-inch layer, water that until you've got at least half a third of a bag. Couple of holes in the bottom, squash all the air out, then knot it and put it behind the shed. That's where mine am now, and that'll be ready 3-4 months. Beautiful stuff. And that's what I'm still doing now. I'm getting a bag of that. I'm taking the hound for a walk. Once I've got about 6 bags, then it'll go in leaf mould, because that I've got 1 bag left after that leaf mould one was ready. Right, back to this stuff. Because that was this is my new allotment now up here. Because that was the only place I could have me bin, which is a black wall 330 litre bin. The only place I could have it was on slabs, which is perfect. It still works on slabs. Right, if I leg it up here, Ben. As you see, it's got its winter coat on, blackened. That's coming off soon. As soon as we get the warm weather here, because we're still getting cold nights, then it'll have a white coat on. That'll repel the heat and light. Look after my worms, because I want worms to work 12 months of the year, so I'll look after them. Check my lid off. You have a perv in there, Ben. I got carpet on the top of my compost. This is keeping the moisture in, looking after my worms. And if you keep these carpets moist as well, you'll get worms between the 3 layers of carpet. There you are. Stuff was added in there about 3 days ago. You see the worms on the top, I'm going through it. So what I'm going to do now is bung them down. Put that in what I've just chopped up. Obviously there'll be more of an amount of this. This is just to show you. Spread it out evenly. That's dry. I'm now going to water it with a watering can. If you can go up there, Ben, and I'll go and get me. Right, pretend we just watered that. Also in the watering can is liquid seaweed. Or if you ain't got no liquid seaweed or comfrey, just make a tea bag out of comfrey nettles. Or just piddle in the watering can and then water that lot. Carpets back on top. If the carpets are dry, water them as well. So I've done that, but now I want some compost up because I'm potting something out like these canners. If I'm potting them canners up from that cup to the next pot size up, they're going into my compost 100%. Same as most things. So now I want some compost up. So all I'm going to do, doesn't matter if you've just put something in, all you're going to do is scrape away 1 inch and then I'm ready. So I put my bin in, bung it this side. And all I'm doing is taking compost out. Right, we'll leave him. Let's go and sort this out. Let's come down here then. On the allotment I was all raised beds, meaning if you can reach the middle of the raised bed, which I can here, you're never going to dig. You only dig because you've compacted it, you've trod on it. Tubs are raised beds as well. All them are raised beds down there. These are top dressed. As soon as they could become empty, they're top dressed with my compost, meaning it's full of worms. So them worms will do my digging for me. So I top dress a raised bed, say if it was this end, top dress it with ½ an inch, water it, and then cover it with the weed suppressant. That's what's on them down the bottom. No? Okay. But, so you leave the worms in because they do your digging. But I want him for potting on. So I'm going to take the worms out. You will still get worms in these pots because of the eggs that are in there. They hatch out, but that don't matter. Right, this lot here. Put me in a bit there. I'm just going to dollop there. If there's some stuff that's still breaking down, any lumps or worms, I'll just pick them out. These can go back in the compost. But it's because I'm potting on from a small pot onto a bigger pot. So I don't need the worms in there. I've got the majority. Obviously you ain't going to get every one. All I do is I take my time getting them out. So I've done that bit. Next bit. If you see any springtails in there, you know you've got good compost. I'm just getting all my babbies out. The brew boss. Don't forget this is their feed. What we've just put in that bin is the worms' feed. If you keep it moist and warm, which you do, then they will multiply rapidly and go through everything, which they have done here. I'll do one more bit, then we'll have a nose. But it's beautiful stuff. If you make your own compost, just try it. I mean, tomatoes growing anything, any road. Just try it with half and half with compost that you're buying. If that works, then use 3/4 of your compost and half of a multi-purpose compost, and you'll be surprised how well your stuff is going. Then if you buy my book and find out how to do it properly, look after it, you're going to make a bomb. Right, so at the end, I'll just turn them over. Then we'll go back in the bin. But there's hordes of them in there. Because they don't like sunlight, they go to the bottom. That's why you keep a carpet lid on top of them, as well as a lid on the top, of course. Right, me potting on. These canners, I've found out they love, well, I like a good, something that hang on to moisture. If I show you this one, I've tried with these with everything. So the one I did have the same size of him, obviously in the same pot. I potted on yesterday because he's getting too root bound. But that's clover compost. If I upend the chap and have a look at him, the roots have just started coming through. Because obviously, if I was to water or feed that, there's nothing in that compost to hang on to anything. This is my compost. You can still see the lumps that's in there. I'm still breaking down. Look at the roots on that, superb. That's what you want to see. because watering this compared to clover, my compost has got lumps in it, so it is hanging on to moisture, warmth and oxygen as you're feeding. And white thick roots tell me the compost is working. That's that one. What it does, it works. I've tried them with a normal compost, and you can tell if there's anything of mine got my compost in. There's a tomato seedling. If nothing kills off tomato seed, you'll be composting it, of course. We'll just throw them in babbies. We'll go back in there. Roll that one in the cupboard. That's about it, I think. But just try your if you make your own compost, just try it and you'll be surprised. And if you need any tips on Amazon, compost ready to use within a month. Only 12 quid. Best 12 quid you'll ever spend. Because I've done the trials and I've got it's all in there. If the worms in the lids, I'm trying to get some of it out. But let me just read you a little bit. This book contains no needlessly big words, no waffle, no confusing Latin names, no bullshit, although I would have liked to have tried the bullshit. But I'm on YouTube. If anybody's in a gardening club or wants to talk, allotment site or anything, I give talks on composting, raised beds and no dig, and there's several other talks as well. You'll follow me on Facebook. That's it, people. Hope you've enjoyed it and learned something. Cheers. Ta-ra, Bobby.